Man, whew. I don't think I've started this bike up in a while. Let's see if it even starts. Oh, the gauges went on. Oh shit! Bike literally only still has 244 miles on it. I have not ridden it at all. I have been taking the naked bike almost on every trip, every ride. My garage is kind of a mess, but let's warm this baby up and take it for a little cruise since it's pretty nice out right now. I feel so weird riding a bike without an exhaust system, like it's just so silent. Oh, whoa, 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 God, nope, nope. Yeah, this bike is just so freaking silent, man. Not having an exhaust system on it is definitely a different feeling than being on the Z900. So I wanted to go out on a ride today and just talk about the R3 and you know the things that I like about it. Harley dude is like, what's that dude doing on a... Oh shit. What the frick? He thought he could make the yellow. I thought I could make the yellow. Whatever. Anyways guys, what do I like about the R3? One of the things that I really like about the R3 is that, oh man, it's just like you can ride it anywhere, right? Whether it's in the street, whether it's on the highway. Now we'll talk a little bit about the highway more later, but it's just a great starter bike. You know, the ergonomics are great. So if you're on the highway compared to other bikes I've ridden, like the 650, other upright sport bikes that I've ridden, like the 650, you just have even though it's a smaller engine, you just have a better feeling when you're on it. It feels like a proper sport bike. 2019 bikes, I think it has I think they switched it to the upside down forks, so the suspension is a lot better all around, definitely a lot better. But obviously I lowered the bike down, which kind of affects the suspension a little bit. Not something that you would want to really do if you want to take it to the track or anything like that, but if you're a shorter person, that'll be perfect. I think the seat height is about 31 or 31 point something inches. So, you know, if you're 5 foot or 5'1", you may want to lower it a little bit, and you have that option. I'm gonna tell you straight up, that was a bad call for me to speed up a little bit to try to catch that yellow light. In Texas, the rules about running your red light is if you cross that line before the light turns red, you're good. You didn't run that stop sign. You know, if you're at the intersection prior to the light turning red, you're good, because it takes a couple seconds before that person that's making that left turn over there has that green arrow. But also in Texas, that person probably had a green light or a green light to yield. Like, he can go as long as he yields to riders or to drivers, you know, going through the intersection. So as soon as my light turns red, a couple seconds with a little delay, his light will either turn red, or it'll turn a solid green light. So see, like that light right over there on that left turning lane, it's green, but he still has to yield to the other people going the other way. If that light turns solid, a solid arrow, then he would have the people turning left would have a, how do you say, is a they would have right away. It was a bad judgment call. I mean, it would have been his fault and I would have it on camera, but it would have been a bad judgment for me because I'll probably be laying down in the hospital. And I gotta be a little bit more vigilant. That's all on me. Again, it still wouldn't be my fault, but if I don't want to lay down in the hospital, then I wouldn't do that. And that's just the decisions you make when you're in the street. Sometimes you think you can make a light, sometimes you don't, you know. We're kind of getting too much into that instead of talking about the bike. But all right, so I'm gonna treat this kind of like a first ride and give you my observations of the R3. It's a pretty quick bike, you know, from 0 to 100 or 0 to 80. You know, it's a pretty quick bike. It'll keep up with a lot of group rides. It'll keep up with other people until you get to the straights. Obviously, then, you know, how fast your bike moves is going to be a factor in the straights. But if you're hitting twisties at 30-mile-per-hour turns, you know, I'm not saying you're going 30 miles an hour on those turns, but if you're in the range of moving at anywhere from 60 miles an hour, 60-70 miles an hour during the ride, you're gonna be fine. We just had a ride a few weeks ago, and my friend was in a 400 and he was pretty much leading the group. He was pretty much up there with all the thousands and the 600s, and he had a Ninja 400. So as a new rider, you know, coming to the bike game, coming to the bike life, starting from an R3 isn't bad. You know, I started on a 250. I rode a 250 around for a little bit. I stopped riding for a long time, and then I jumped straight into a Ninja 650, which was an upright bike. It was easy to learn on. It was tuned differently so that you can learn better. And it was just a different type of bike, you know, coming in at what, like 60-70 horsepower. After that, that was a bad downshift. After that, I got a you know, I acquired a R6, and the R6 definitely the R6 was definitely a fun bike. You know, it made me learn a lot about real super sports. And you know, it wasn't ABS, so I wasn't spoiled with the 650 had ABS. I wasn't spoiled with that, so it definitely helped me learn a little bit more about bikes than I would have. Man, this is my old spot with the R6 though. I figured I'd bring the R3 in here. Ooh. I figured I'd bring the R3 here and ride it around. Looks like somebody's been doing donuts around here. Yep, this is the old spot, yo. Man, every time I ride it, when I do ride it, people always ask me, is that an R3? Or, you know, because they think it looks like an R3. And I'm always like, nope, that's R3. They think it's an R6. Which is pretty funny because this is, you know, it looks sporty like an R6, but it has those really nice lights, but it's definitely not a R6. Got a little damage over here. Got dropped on a parking lot, so I do have a little bit of damage. But the R3 is a beautiful bike, man. For a 300cc or a 299cc bike, it definitely is worth it. You know, I mean, if that's where you're starting, if that's where you want to go when it comes to bikes and progress from there, the R3 is definitely a great bike for that. All right, took a couple photos. So, and just to get you to look at this display, man, it's got the RPMs up here, got gear, indicator, digital miles per hour on this TFT. Oh, actually, I don't think it's a TFT display. I think it's a LED display. Engine oil, gas indicator. I'm about half tank right there. And then you have your temperature and then your trip. You got your time, and then you got your miles, and then you can actually set your odometer to trips. So I can zero that out. Should be able to, oh, I changed it to kilometers on trip 2. I think you can reset it. So trip 2, let me reset this, and then it goes to 0. You got your ABS light, Yamaha insignia, and then your oil gauge or your oil light on. And then the ABS light basically just tells you when you turn on the bike that ABS is ready to go, and then it turns off after a while. Your signal lights, when you hit your signals, that blinks. Your left signal, that blinks. There's a neutral light. Let me show you real quick. There's your neutral light right there, and then your high beams. So if I turn that off, high beams go off. Yeah, that's about it. In the daytime, I always keep my high beams on though. I think it's a lot more safer. Anyways guys, if you like the video, go ahead and comment, like, and subscribe. What are some things that you know, your first impressions of it? Let me know in the comments below. That's kind of legit. Every bike is different. Every bike, I like every bike, you know. I think every bike has its own features that you're gonna love and you're gonna hate, but and it comes down to why you're buying the bike, what are you gonna use it for, and how will it make you a better rider, or how will it challenge you in your adventure of riding. I will hit you up on the next one. Peace.